We are the wise and wicked crones. Got no time for lies, no time for casting stones. Wise and wicked, no time for fears or prevarications. Wise and wicked, gonna rise among the nations. Crones are gonna spread our wisdom around the nations. We are the wise and wicked crones. Wise and wicked crones.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you on this gorgeous October afternoon? It's hard to even believe it's October.
We're so lucky here. We're in Southern Ontario area, guys. And oh, we've got like 23 degrees out there today. It's like,
I know.
oh,
It's
so
definitely not sweater weather. It's sweating weather.
I know. Even last night
know.
at 10 o'clock after my choir practice, we came outside and it was like the wind, it was really windy, but it was a
Yes.
balmy breeze.
Sultry.
Oh,
sultry.
so
Yeah. It's really, this has been probably one of the prettiest falls or autumns that I can recall ever. We've had very little rain and just incredibly lovely weather and just beautiful.
I want to say though, I have friends and family out in Alberta. They had snow yesterday.
Yikes. Yeah. I have friends in Finland. They've had snow too. So
Winter is coming.
it is indeed.
So before we go any further, we want to do a land acknowledgement, which is we do acknowledge that the land we meet on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Attawandaron, the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and Wendat peoples, and now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples, as well as those of us who are relative newcomers. So that's, and oh, I should say, I am Peggy Semple, also known as Margarett in many circles. And oh, I am a musician. I am a mother of adult children. I am a hiker. I am looking for joy every day.
Well, that's wonderful to aspire to that because joy, that is something that I have been chasing for a few years. My name is Leea Nutson. I am a warrior. I am a widow. I am a political wonk. I am a rabid knitter. I probably knit 5 hours a day. I'm a yoga enthusiast. I also work out. I am a grandmother to 2 beautiful little girls. I am a dog lover, mother to 2 for children, and I drink wine.
I drink wine too, except now I am not supposed to drink as much wine, and we can talk about this another time or whatever, but I just did blood work, and for the first time ever in my life, my cholesterol is slightly elevated, and something else is just too low, and so it's like
Your thyroid.
no, oh, my thyroid's always low. It never tests low.
But if your thyroid is low, that can actually cause your cholesterol to go up because I just went through this with my doctor. So there you go.
The name of the thing that's low is, I don't want to get off on this, but it's I hadn't heard of it before. It's neutrophils.
Oh, I have no
And you
idea what
take
that.
vitamin B3 for it because I went down the Mayo Clinic rabbit hole on Google
Okay.
checking out my blood work results. Anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
back to you're going to.
I'm going to read our mission statement. Combined, we have accumulated over a century of learning and life experiences. Our mission is to bring you thought-provoking, interesting, and often humorous wisdom that will enhance your life and enlighten your spirit. Nothing is sacred. This is a frank look at life and an open space for discussion. We welcome you into our worlds.
Welcome to our world.
This is for education and information only. We do not aspire to be professionals in any capacity whatsoever.
No, not gurus, not doctors, not lawyers. So, oh, we should draw a card because if you've seen us before, you know, we always like to start off by drawing a card from
Oh,
the
I did the disclaimer too. Sorry, I did the disclaimer too.
That's all right. I'm happy about that.
Okay, you can tell we're not professionals. Awkward.
You don't even
Anyway.
know this. You don't even know this, or you may know. Last episode rather, I figured out how to clip a little bit out because we had said Happy Thanksgiving, and I thought, oh, we're not even posting it before Thanksgiving. I figured out how to clip it out. It's like, ooh, edits are now possible, folks.
You are
You'll
an
probably
editor.
be able
Okay.
to tell, but yeah.
You
Anyway,
could just remove that whole bit there.
except we won't because it'll be more fun.
Okay.
As one of my friends said, the best part is feeling like I'm just right there with you guys being
Oh,
goofy.
and we want people to feel like they're part of us, a part of our group.
Oh, the card that came today is the Lover's card.
Ah.
And I love the Lover's card. And what it's about is unity, right? It's the merging together of different forces. It is also can be the coming together of people, ideas, but it is lovers, but it's also a unity card. It's a really neat card. And it's so beautiful. Isn't it gorgeous?
It is a gorgeous card. I love that.
Yeah. So this is the Mother Peace deck, if people are wondering, that is Vicky Noble and Karen Vogel. And it's a great deck. I love it. So anyway, yeah, so that's kind of interesting, unity, because what we were going to talk about today is manifestation.
Exactly, because we had talked about premonition last time around, so we felt that we were going to combine them originally and decided that they were two big topics, and better to look at them individually.
Yes.
So I just want to talk a little bit about manifestation because in our Party Light days, we got a great deal of training about visualization and visualizing for success and so on and so forth. And one of the most useful exercises that I went through was this, and I'm going to kind of just lay it out really, really quickly for you. For 4 or 5 days, I carried around a paper notebook, loved paper notebooks, loved Dollarama for paper notebooks. And I would write into it everything that I wanted to have in my life, whether it was financial, spiritual, physical, emotional, it didn't matter, just whatever. And I carried it in the car. And if I was at a stoplight and I thought of something, I'd go, whoo, and then I would write it and add it to my list. So I ended up with about 150 things on this particular list. So then the next part of the exercise was I took this list and I divided it into categories, like as I mentioned, financials or acquisition, lifestyle, health, so on and so forth. And then I wrote a letter to myself 5 years in the future. Now, the secret to, and I discussed the categories, and I wrote it as if I was describing what had happened to me in the last 5 years. So the secret to this being successful is you must be extremely detailed in what your 5-year letter looks like. So it would be like, for example, it would be like, I'm really, really excited to say that now I'm only working 4 days a week. And the days that I'm working, I get up in the morning early and I work out and I have my coffee and then I sit for a bit and then I, get into my office. So I get into my office for like 2 hours. So I described it in incredible detail to myself, what my life looked like. And tucked the letter away. And the interesting thing about it, or what happened was, most of the things in the letter came true. And pretty much everything. I ended up with the lifestyle that I wanted. As I mentioned before, I've had to change husbands to get it. But anyways, it all kind of that all kind of worked out.
You never know how you're going to get what you ask for.
Yeah, and there are scientific reasons why this happens. So if you've ever planned a wedding, for example, and you visualize what your wedding or is going to look like, or a trip or a vacation or whatever, you visualize the details of how it's going to unfold. And what happens is you start to engage in behaviors that will get you to the end point, because your unconscious mind can't tell the difference between what is real and what is visualized in that particular regard. The other thing that happens is something called your reticular activating system. This is a filtering system that we all have that filters in and out information that's important to us or information that's not important to us. So for example, if you've ever been pregnant in your life, when you were pregnant, the whole world was pregnant, or the whole world was driving Volkswagen Beetles, or whatever it was. you know, you start to notice these details. So these things all help you to put this future into action. And I think that's really, really, really important. The other key to it is to only focus on what you want, because
Yeah.
what happens is so many people, and myself included, have focused on what we don't want to happen. And when that is the dominant thought in your mind, you sometimes engage in the behaviors that will get you to what you don't want. And I think isn't it a verse in the Bible that says that, which I feared most has come upon me, because you have focused on the negative aspect rather than focusing on the future. So I think this is a fun exercise. I have tried to do it again in the last few years. It hasn't worked, but I haven't really committed to it. But this is one of the things that I'm planning on working on as an exercise to help me move into the next phase of my life. The other thing that I kind of want to say about it too is one of my favorite phrases that I say to everybody all the time, and tell the universe what you want. It is always.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we have so many of the same ways of going about stuff. Getting clear about what you want, you know. And I never did that carry the notebook thing around for 5 days. I think that's a really cool idea. And to just start dreaming, ooh, I want this, and I want that, and I want this. I think that's a really cool idea. I have done the letter writing thing. But anyways, but one thing that's fun is to do a spider chart. So when I say a spider chart, I mean you take a blank piece of paper, and then you, in the middle of it, this is what you want. Like, so you'd write new car, and then you'd say, oh, I want a sports car. Why? Because a sports car goes fast. A sports car looks cool. You could also go, I want one that costs me less than $30,000. I want one that, because I don't want to spend too much money on a car, I don't want to spend too much money on insurance. So you're going off in the different directions and getting really detailed. It's a really good way of honing in on details, which you also were talking about, right? And affirmations. So I wanted to say one thing too is focusing on something. I totally agree. And I always say that worrying is dreaming out of fear. So if you're focusing on what you're afraid of, you're going to draw it to you, because the universe gives us what we think about, which is why gratitude is so important, because then you're focusing on what you like and what you are grateful for. You're going to get more of it, right? So the whole gratitude, the don't worry, catch yourself worrying, and stop it. Like, just stop it, and say to yourself, no, don't, we're not worrying. We're putting our thoughts over here. And you had been talking last episode about the premonition about losing Bob somehow. And I think you mentioned, I don't know if it was on air or not, that someone had said to you, which I can't believe they said this, but that by you worrying about that, you were manifesting it. Well, that's bull. Okay.
No.
But no matter, I mean, when you think about someone who's ill, you visualize them in health, but there's reality too. And it's so, you know, you're focusing on as well as can be, as things getting better, but sometimes we can't change what's in the plan. We just,
I think the difference was between worrying and premonition was this was an unwanted thought, and it was more a feeling, a gut feeling.
exactly.
And I had it for many, 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 many years, way before he got sick. So that was the difference. Like, worrying to me is more, just like you said, it's more conscious activity. This wasn't conscious. This was like a,
well, you just knew. And
just
that's
knew,
not
exactly.
creating it. I'm just saying
No.
that's not creating, and I don't want people to get that mixed up or ever
Yes.
say anything like that to anybody.
Yes.
Because someone should give you what we could say, the angels give you a wing slap, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so focusing on what you do want and what you don't want. I am a total believer in that. You know, they say the reason that in the winter around in Canada, for at least, you can be driving in a snowstorm, and if a car goes out of control somehow, there's one tree or one telephone pole in the middle of bare space, and they ram into the tree. Why? Because they're going, oh no, I don't want to hit the tree. I don't want to hit the tree. As opposed to, I am steering into the clearing. I am steering into the, right? So, oh, I just rhymed.
Yes.
So it's really, it's focus on what you want. And vision boards are fun for that. I mean, the letter, I love the letter, and I love visualizing. Writing the letter takes it another step forward. You can even just sit and, oh, this is how it will be when. And then an affirmation is writing down, saying, singing, all those things. You are saying what you want as though you already have it, with an emotion attached to it. So I am so happy and grateful that I am at a healthy weight and cholesterol level, and I enjoy the freedom that gives me this or something better now happens. Now that doesn't really, the this or something better doesn't really connect with that, but say it was like, ooh, I get a brand, I'm so grateful and overjoyed that I have a brand new convertible that I get to drive. This or something better now happens. Whatever it is, like, just never limit the universe.
No, don't. It's funny, with that, the only affirmation that I've ever really committed to that I can remember regularly, strangely enough, isn't one that I wrote. It's one of our Party Light colleagues wrote, but I use it all the time. And it's, I am slim, fit, happy, and healthy in my mind, body, and soul. And that is the affirmation that I say to myself. Because I think health is really, really, really important, and in all aspects of your person.
Yeah, no.
But you can write a bunch of affirmations, but again, just like I said, the secret is that they have to be written in the present tense as if you are already in that state. That
Or
is
you already have what you want. It's like if you want a
already
new
have what you
job.
want. Yeah.
I am now so thrilled that I have a perfect job where I am respected and earn tons of money. This or something better now happens. You don't need to say this or something better now happens every single time, but
Exactly.
saying them and repeating the affirmations, writing the affirmations out. I used to sing, huge amounts of money now come to me easily, painlessly through many different channels. And
That
it
was a
was
good
like,
one.
it was, and I would sing it. There was a little more to the song, but that was like, and I would sing it when I'd be driving or whatever, just because the universe likes to hear it, I think. And saying thank you as well. It's, oh, I always, okay, manifesting for driving. Manifesting for driving. I used to live where I had to enter I guess it was 403 at that part of the highway, the 403 QW, which is a brutal road, brutal road. And I had to enter onto the fast lane. It's just a stupid one that they've got. And it was deadly, and it was really short. They've lengthened it now. It's not nearly so bad, but still. And I would be driving and I'd go, okay, angels, because I would always ask my angels, hey, angels, please let me have an easy entry into traffic. And then I'd be going and there'd be like that gap. Like, thank you guys. Thank you, angels. So I laugh that it's like now I'm coming up to the highway and I enter the highway and I go, oh, you guys are the best. Thank you. Because I don't even have to ask anymore.
Yeah.
They just present it to me.
I have one that's kind of similar, but not about angels. So if I don't want to hit any red lights, I put a tube of lipstick in my hand. And I never hit red lights when I have lipstick in my hand, because I want to put my lipstick on, and I'm waiting for the red light, but no, I get nothing but green lights, or just
That's
about to.
hysterical.
It's the strangest thing. So
I
going back
blow
to
traffic away. Oh, I just
me?
want to say, if there's any kind of traffic up ahead or lights or something, I'll blow. I'm clearing the traffic. I'm clearing the traffic.
Okay, I'm gonna
And
do
it
that.
clears. It works.
Okay, I'm
Not
trying
all
that.
the time, but most of the time. So
Well,
that again, I'm manifesting,
that's
right?
it. Yeah, exactly. So what I was going to say, you were starting to talk about vision board. So vision board is basically you just get a bunch of magazines, cut out a bunch of pictures, load them off Pinterest, whatever, and you create a lovely board for yourself that you can visualize. So the letter is just really writ large your vision board in writing. It's just more detailed. Exactly. So a lot of people wonder sometimes why things don't work. And I will tell you kind of really quickly here. There's a difference between a wish, a goal, and a vision. Okay. A wish is, I wish I could lose 10 pounds. A goal is, I will lose 10 pounds by January 20th. And a vision is, I am slim, fit, happy, and healthy in my mind, body, and soul. So a wish will just stay in the wish category because you're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
The problem with goals are great, but goals can only be used as a goal post to get you to your vision, as a marker that you're moving in the right direction. But the problem is that too many people work just with a goal. And then if you work with just a goal, once you achieve that goal, then you backslide, or you have, unless you've got another goal set ahead, you have nothing pulling you forward to engage, make yourself engage in the behaviors that will help you get that way. If you have a vision, and visions can change, like I think we talked about this in an earlier episode, vision when my kids were young was to raise them and to do this, that, and the other thing with my business. But visions can change, but a vision has to be very, very clear, because then you will do things. So what I always like to use, or I used to use in training, was this visual here. So if you think the top, my thumb at the top here is a vision, and this bottom here is my current reality. So that's the situation that you're in. Okay, so what happens is your vision is to be slim, fit, happy, and healthy, which means you have to pay attention to your diet, your sleep, your exercise, everything. And what happens is that either you will, and this is tension, the tension between the current reality and your vision is what this rubber band is doing. So when you start to unconsciously move in the direction of your vision, you start to reduce the stress between your current reality and your vision. However, where most people get tripped up, or where people get tripped up in this, is that when things get tough, at a tough point in the vision, and there always is the tough point, then they start to dumb the vision down, so to speak, to move in the direction of their current reality, to reduce the stress on themselves. So then nothing changes. So if nothing is changing, is because either your vision isn't your vision for what you want, whatever it is. And I'm just using weight loss as just an example. Then if your vision isn't strong enough, detailed enough, and you're not strongly committed to it, then you will not engage in those behaviors that will get you to where you want to be. And if you're using, remember, the goals are just the post. Oh, okay, I lost 5 pounds. I lost 10 pounds. I worked out 3 days this week. Those are the things that will help you get there.
And I have actually started making my goals connected to action as opposed to connected to the result. Because if one engages in certain actions, the result will eventually come. So for example, losing weight, my goal isn't to lose 10 pounds by December 1st. My goal is to walk 10,000 or more steps every day, and to follow a certain eating guideline where I'm eating clean foods and only drinking wine 1 day a week, which is tomorrow. Because I just have to make these health changes, right? So so that's just one little tweak that I have found really helpful. Because when I used to do, I'm going to lose 10 pounds by December 1st, and then even if I was doing steps and it didn't work because my body loves holding on to weight, then I would get discouraged and I would go, well, so much for that goal, as opposed to, keep doing the actions. The goal is doing the actions, and that will get me to what I want, which would be my,
and that's very smart. Yes.
right. So that's something
very, very smart. The other thing I just want to, before I forget, I just want to say something too with choice of language. So you have to be really careful here, because if you say, I need to do this, I need to do this, what happens is your unconscious mind goes, no, you don't. You don't need to do that. So the language is, I want to. I want to walk 10,000 steps a day. I want to, want to exercise. I want to eat healthy. I want
Well,
to
I
eat.
don't even, I would take it a further step than that. I now walk 10,000 steps a day. I now happily eat the food I'm supposed to eat. I now happily drink wine once a week. But putting it in that present tense again, like an affirmation, right?
It does.
It's you. So you're absolutely right. And we can, and see, this is how we fine tune, because you mentioned, like sometimes it seems like things are preventing us from getting what we want to manifest. Well, there's all sorts of reasons for that. And most of them are in our subconscious. Now, or maybe it's not something you really, really want. Like, do you really want it? Is one question. And are you taking practical steps? I mean, I'm a huge believer in visualization and asking the universe and or God or the saints or the fairies or the angels, whoever it is that most resonates for you personally. I'm a huge believer in asking for that extra divine guidance, but you have to take the practical steps. I mean, I'm sure you know the story about the guy who's on top of the roof and the floodwaters are rising, and a guy goes by in a rowboat and he goes, "Hey, jump in." And he goes, "No, no, no, it's okay. God's going to save me. God's going to save me." And he's like, "Come on, God, save me." And then, you know, a motorboat comes along and he says, "Jump in." And he goes, "No, no, no, God's going to save me." And it's like, the helicopter, no, no, God's going to say, well, he drowns because he doesn't take the practical steps. You know, he goes to heaven and God says, well, I sent you a rowboat, a motorboat, a like, right? So we have to take the practical steps. We can't just visualize ourselves having that life that you wanted with all those things that you wanted. I know you worked really hard. You made concrete plans and goals for action, and you put them into action.
Because if you're not, it's a wish. It's still, so the man on the roof, he was wishing. Whereas, you know, all those opportunities were provided. So that's where the reticular activating system kicks in, and where the behaviors kick in that helps you. And sometimes you're not aware of it, because it wasn't until I ended up with my life the way I wanted it that I realized, hey, I had planned this years ago. You know, the weekend house, working 4 days a week, working in a group home, a good group home, like, you know what I mean? All these things, and like 2 dogs, and working out and yoga and all this stuff. It wasn't, I went, hey, and then do you think I could find the letter? No, but I mean, I did hang on to those other letters for 40 years, but do you think I could hang on to this one letter? No.
Oh, it's probably tucked into something somewhere, right? But it really, looking forward and doing those practical steps. Another thing is, well, we talked about writing things down. We've talked about vision boards. We've talked about asking for divine or otherworldly help. We've talked about focusing on what we already have that we are grateful for. Releasing the past. So that's where I was going, is that sometimes we're holding on to old beliefs. Oh, money doesn't grow on trees, or, oh, rich people are, you know, not pleasant people. Like, we unconscious things or subconscious things that we have carried from some point in our life, from something someone said when we were little. And it's like, no, there's enough, and there's enough for everyone. I used to, when we'd be, you know, booking shows, and I would say, there's enough for everyone, including me. There's enough for everyone, including me. I never felt like it was a competition. It was always, there's enough for everyone, including me. And I would say that to myself over and over, you know, especially when you're on the phone, making phone calls, and it's like, yeah, there's enough for everyone. And I'm doing the work, manifesting my however many shows I wanted, right?
Right. So you made me think of something, and I don't have an answer for this. This is a question. Do you think women have a tendency to focus more on the negative, or on the fear, or when you talk about things holding you back, or do we tend to, are we still tending to hang on to some things that are no longer apply? Like, I remember years and years ago having a conversation with a woman who said to me, well, my husband is smarter than me. Isn't your husband smarter than you? And my jaw hit the floor. And so in her belief system and how she had been raised and whatever, she had been taught that no matter what, the husband, the man, was smarter than the woman in the relationship. So, and my mother, for example, always thought that her friend was more successful with men because she was a blonde, and my mother wasn't a blonde. This was after she and my dad got
Blondes have
divorced.
more fun. That's what we heard all the time when we were growing up in the
But my
60s.
mother kept saying, "Oh, I don't think I'm attracting men because I'm not blonde." And I'm like, "Oh my God, mother!" Like, we're not in the 50s anymore.
That is what we call a limiting belief. And
Yes.
I think men and women have limiting beliefs,
Okay.
right? I don't think it's restricted to women. I think there's certain ones that maybe are more prevalent in women because of what we've had
Yeah.
to sort of overcome and address over the last, 100 years. But limiting beliefs, you have to identify them, and you have to release them. You have to identify, look at, work through, release. Because if you believe that money only grows on trees, then you'll never have enough of it, because you're always, oh, there's not enough, or you have to work hard for your money. I mean, I'm not saying you don't have to work for money, but then there's some people who just sort of put up their hand and dollar bills flow to them, right? It's like, I don't know.
But it's like anything. You can negative self-talk yourself into thinking that you're unlovable. Therefore, you don't deserve the kind of relationship you want, or that you're not attractive. You don't deserve to be attractive, or you don't deserve good things to come into your life. You can talk yourself into believing anything, and either it's you've acquired this, or you've been told this, or experiences made you believe this. It's a kind of almost a PTSD type of thing sometimes, and it can happen, and we allow ourselves to be victimized by these beliefs that are no longer have any basis in reality whatsoever.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think that's one of the things that it does stop us manifesting what we really want to have. So it's important to look at that stuff. And sometimes that needs a help from a professional like a therapist, or because those can be very deep-seated. If your little 3-year-old was told, shut up, you're stupid, sit in the corner, be quiet, you're ugly, your little 3-year-old's going to believe that.
Absolutely.
So, and that little 3-year-old exists within you, and that lizard brain that we have too, right? Like that, it holds on to that. So we have to deal with it and let it go consciously, right?
Well, you can't move ahead if you're looking behind, right? You can't move forward if you're looking behind you all the time.
No,
So
you don't drive looking in your rearview mirror.
So, and that's why I'm very conscientious about my granddaughters, because I perceive both of them to be strong individuals, and I want to make sure that they go forward with strength and confidence, and not have any kind of negative. And I mean, you can't protect them from everything, obviously, and it's not a question of protecting them. It's more about reinforcing their strengths. I want to make sure that they understand that, and that women can be strong, and that women are strong, and that women can lead a country, women can lead a province, women can do
There's
anything.
no difference between, well, I'm not going to say that. Men and women are equally intelligent. Men and women have equal strength of character, have equal, it's just, that's something that's a whole other topic.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole today.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. A few years ago, early in COVID, maybe it was the second year of COVID, I did, when I was doing a lot of things online, I was doing some workshops, and I did a workshop called Creating What We Want that I was selling through my website. And now that I have closed down that website, if you are interested in like 40 minutes of a deep dive into the sort of steps of manifestation, you can just send me an email at margarettsample@gmail.com, margarettsample@gmail.com. And it's 11:11. And send me an e-transfer, and I will send you the link to the private so you can see it. But it gives some of these ideas in more depth, a few other ideas, and just sort of takes it forward. But
You still doing bracelets? Are you still doing
I am still making bracelets. I just bought more beads.
I'm looking for one. I'm looking for one that's got reds and blacks in it.
Reds are hard because I like real stones, and without the dye, there's not really nice red, but I'll show you what I got later on. Because yeah, I love making bracelets. It's like one of my joys. And
I wear one of yours every single day.
Thank you. I'm glad you do.
Every single, along with my Celtic knot war bracelet. So
yeah, I have my Aries one that I wear every day. And then I have which is aquamarine and bloodstone, because those are the March and Aries birthstones. The diamonds too, but you know. And then I wear these ones, which are protection ones too. So yeah. And I have a whole stack. I love them. I'm glad you asked. I just still do those. Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't mean to ask that.
Yeah.
So I think that we're pretty much wrapped up this topic, unless you've got something else that you wanted to say about it. So basically, in conclusion, I just wanted to say, tell the universe what you want. It is always listening, and write it down.
Don't hold on to it. Don't like go, oh, this is what I want. 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 Go, this is what I want. This is how I want it. This is why I want it. Okay. And let it go and put it out there and trust. And take the practical steps.
Yes, and look towards it with joy. Have joy in it. This should not be a negative thing. This is
no, absolutely. This should be fun. It should be fun, because our inner self, our higher self, they both like fun, and they have a lot to do with achieving what we manifest. It's so cool. I just saw something like a little orb or something flying around. Maybe it's just a bug, but
no, you've seen orbs in here before. I just had a thought. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I know what I was going to say. People spend more times planning a vacation than they do planning their lives. And it's never too late to sit down and plan, well, how you would like things to be going forward for you. So now's as good a time as any. So that's one of the reasons that I'm ready. I believe you have to be in the right headspace to do it. Yes, for sure. Even a tiny little bit of a headspace. So that's why I think I'm ready to now sit down and say to myself, okay, let's talk about what you want to manifest in your life going forward.
And we're coming up to what they say, which is New Year, Halloween, which is a great time for letting go of the old and bringing in the new. And I think it's probably going to be a new moon around the first week of November. So a really good time to start figuring out where you want it, what you want to be doing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, this was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yes, indeed. And again, if you do have enjoyed it, please please subscribe. Please feel free to join our Facebook group, which is a women's only group, and people who identify as women. So please feel free to reach out to us for that. We'd love that. And again, if you have suggestions, questions, anything you would like to see, please let us know. We're always open to suggestions. We're not afraid to tackle any subject, well, almost any subject. So we're game.
And tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Oh yeah, please do tell your friends.
All right. Well, goodbye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.